Let's go out to Phoenix, Arizona, and talk to John. What's up, John in Phoenix?
Hey, how's it going, John?
I'm good, my brother. What's up?
So I just went through a really nasty divorce. I'm a Christian guy. I'm 34 years old. I had a child with my ex-wife. There's kind of a lot of trauma kind of built in all of this, so forgive me if I get a little emotional.
No,
but
it's all good, man.
Our child had major medical issues when they were born.
Okay.
We were still married at the time. We got home and me and her, long story short, disagreed about COVID, I was trying to work and provide for my family, and I had to go in and meet a client, and she took our child that day and separated, left. We had problems, in the rest of the year too, but sorry, I'm kind of running around.
No,
but
it's all right, man. It's all right.
just a little backstory. So my question is, divorce is finalized. I have 50-50, and I am owing her still child support. And I am having a really hard time, just not just dealing with everything. It's just like financially, it's also kind of a burden, and I'm just struggling. I'm trying to find like a biblical approach or a way to look at it where, it doesn't cause any more, anger, hurt, and resentment, toward her. But I'm really frustrated that, I did not file, she left, she filed, and I feel like now I'm getting punished forever with this. And I just don't know. I don't know if I'll ever be able to save up for a house. I don't know if I'll ever be able to have like a great, life still while having to be a single dad, pay for all the expense. Like I still have to pay for childcare on my side. And she has a bunch of family here, and I'm, paying, and she could work, but she's not. And I just don't know what to do.
I can hear it on you, man. And I am heartbroken that your marriage didn't make it. I would be willing to bet there was challenges. COVID was not the first thing that happened.
100%.
There was probably some really heaviness in the water that made COVID became the lightning rod or became the focal point. And it's not uncommon, unfortunately, that kids with special needs, that kids with exceptional medical issues split husbands and wives up because the grieving process is so unique to individuals. And someone's like, well, I can't believe you're not concerned about this. Or I can't believe you're just going to go watch a movie when our kid is, right? And then the other one is like, you expect me to shut down my life, right? And people just go to war. And it really, again, it's kind of like money. The kid who's struggling is really the symptom, not the issue, right? The issue is below that. But here you are, you found yourself there. I think I may get my dates off. I think it's 75, 76, 77, something like that was when the whole like child support came into be, right? And it was the idea of it was trying to keep the nuclear. Kelly, will you check on that? Like the origin of child support. But the idea was still then in the 70s, there was a nuclear family. Generally speaking, mom stayed home, dad worked, and it was a way to keep the family looking like it originally did. 1950. Okay. So I was off 25 years. So that's about right on this show. 1950. The idea was we're going to keep the nuclear family looking as close as possible. So mom is still going to stay home with the kids. That check is still going to show up here, and dad was usually the one that chose to leave. Okay, so it still has some shadows to that. Here's the hard reality. I'm going to say y'all, and I know that your response is going to be, that's not true. I didn't file, okay? But I'm going to say y'all on purpose, and feel free to push back when I get done saying what I'm going to say, okay?
Okay.
Y'all entered into a marriage, and you entered into a legal marriage. And y'all, for whatever reason, made decisions, whether on the front end, in the middle, on the back end, or finally with your ex-wife filing. Y'all made choices to not handle the disagreements or handle the relational matters yourself. And because you entered into a legal arrangement, the dissolution of that legal arrangement put here's what's going to happen in the hands of a government official, in the hands of a judge. And the judge made their choice. And what I would tell you is any anger, rage, frustration, any of that, that's a choice you are making to be miserable in the present. Any time you spent thinking, well, she could be working and she should have been, that's a choice to be miserable in the present. And it's something you got to grieve. It's okay to be frustrated about it. It's okay to be angry about it. All your feelings, everything's okay. The reality is the judge spoke. The judge made a declaration. A divorce decree was signed. And regardless of what you think should have happened, or I think it is, it's just an is. You can go hire a lawyer, somebody to tell you that I'll go fight this for you, and you can spend $10,000 or $20,000 trying to get another $200 reduced from your total bill every month. You can do that. Here's where I would focus my energy in your situation. I would focus my energy on making sure that because you're going to have a relationship with this woman for the rest of your life. Forever. When your kids get married, she's going to be there. When your kids are in the hospital, you're going to have a relationship with her forever. The sooner you can make peace with not her, we're not going to be best friends, we're never going to be lovers again, but we're going to be adults in a relationship for the rest of our lives. We got to act like adults. That means I'm going to have to put my anger and rage down because it's what's best for these kids. And the sooner she can do that too, y'all can begin to co-parent these kids in a way that is going to minimize the divorce trauma. It's going to minimize the angst and frustration and yelling they've absorbed for the last 1, 2, 3, however many years. And so honestly, man, I think your energy is best spent looking forward. If I've got to get another job, I got to get another job. If I have to get a supplemental job for a season, I got to get a supplemental job for a season. Start being about solutions and not sitting in this. So I just threw a lot at you, and this is just me talking to my buddy over a drink, at a local joint. Like, tell me what you think, what you're feeling when I say that stuff.
No, I'm agreeing, and there's some things I'm also not like on the same. So she has a great career too. So I'm not trying to like circumvent that. I'm trying to part of this. There's a lot of backstory too on this. There were false allegations made against me that I had to basically, go in with my attorney. And thankfully there were a bunch of cameras, everything. I was innocent, but I was, basically blamed falsely. And when I went in there and proved that, the judge made it to me where me and her can never communicate again except by email.
Okay.
They were that bad. So her family, her sister testified in court. We proved it wrong. Her sister went to jail for a while.
Okay.
There's
for
a lot
for
of
perjury.
Heavy. Yes. Mm-hmm.
Really?
Or for lying. I'm sorry. Maybe not perjury.
Lying under oath.
For lying under oath. Yes. Mm-hmm.
Wow. What did they accuse you of?
They said that I went over there and I was trying to see my son, and they were not letting. I was seeing him, and she started basically yelling at me, asking me to leave, and I tried to leave with my son. There was unfortunately some physical stuff that happened between her father and I, and they called the police, and the police came over after the fact, and there was a camera right across the street that captured everything outside with me trying to leave with my son and the whole conflict and everything. And her sister and her made all these other claims that were not even remotely true. And so, but I was.
You fought your father-in-law?
Yeah.
How was that?
Yeah. Not good. But it was. I'm glad I got. Can I just say? I hope it's okay to say this.
You say whatever you want.
I'm glad I got a couple good licks in because I got. He was bigger than I was, but I got a couple good ones, so it was okay. It's just awful.
Hey,
but
I'll leave it at that.
I just, it was, I shouldn't laugh about it, but it was,
No, I'm trying to
then
break the
they,
tension here. I can hear it on you, man. So,
yeah,
I know there's millions
okay,
of guys who are like, I bet I could take that old man. And then that old man's like, I've got dad strength. I might not be able to wipe
yeah,
properly for the next 6 months, but I will win this fight right now. Right. So anyway, you did it. You actually fought your father-in-law. So there you go, man. There
I
you go.
did. I did.
Um,
I got a couple of good licks in, but they, yeah. So then they wouldn't let me. They made, there's a whole bunch of other stuff that happened
okay.
after
So,
that.
so
That
let's,
you know,
what you're telling me is
yeah.
perfect because here's the deal. There is such an emotional charge here. There's literally physical altercations that happened. There was lying. There's somebody in jail now. There was all kinds of allegations that were just completely bogus, nonsense. And yet here we are. Here we are. And you're looking at this decree. She might be an attorney that makes $500,000 a year, your ex-wife. And you might be a plumber and you make 52. None of that matters, man. The paper says you got to help out with child support. I'm just going to help out with child support, man. What I would much rather have is a 20-year record for my son when my son turns 30. And I'm just assuming your kid's 10. I don't know how old your kid is, but I want my kid when they turn 25 to have a record of dad never missed. Because the truth will come out, by the way. And if your ex-wife is someone who lies, someone who weaponizes her child, someone who demonizes, it will resurface. And what you're doing now relationally is you're playing a 15 or 20 or 30-year game with your son. Okay? The truth will be known. And there will be a 20-year or an 18-year, however long. I guess it's going to be an 8-year. But it will be an 8-year record. Dad never missed a payment. This wasn't about supporting mom. This wasn't about trying to prop her. This is about taking care of my baby. I always showed up. I always showed up. And that's we're playing a forward-looking game, not a can you believe this all happened game. Because if you go back to court, it's not about your kid. It's about you think you got beat in court and you don't think you should have lost. And that
Well, can I just really?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'll say this really quick. I don't feel that way. I feel I got 50-50. I am so grateful, John, for that. I know there's a lot of good dads that got, traditionally in the past, right, did not get that.
That's
and there
exactly
with these
right.
other, these allegations and stuff that were, I thought I was never going to see him again, sorry for getting a little emotional. I thought I was done. And thankfully, God, there were things set in place so I can see him and be in his life. And I'm not quitting on him. I love him. And
I know you're not. I know you're not
struggling because, it's just, I'm just looking at it, I'm like, well, we got 50-50. Why she has a great career. Why am I giving her anything? Like, why can we not just split this for him down the middle amicably? And I just don't understand why I'm getting
And what I would say is
that's where I'm just struggling.
I totally get the struggle. And mathematically that struggle makes sense. Philosophically that struggle makes sense. But when y'all two chose her maybe more than you, okay? Maybe way more than you. But when y'all chose to not be able to reconcile your challenges together, you offloaded that responsibility to a third party, and that third party made their choice. And so we're sitting in the middle of that choice. We're sitting in the middle of that decision. And if she goes back to work, then you might have a court case. If she's staying at home because of the trauma of her ex-husband was so, dude, I'm going to write my check and I'm going to love the snot out of that kid. And then I'm going to go make my career the best it can be. I'm going to engage in relationships that are good for me, that are healthy for me. And I'm going forward, man. I'm going forward. Okay. Any choice to hang around with that past is a choice to be weighed down. And it's going to feel like lightning bolts, the rage. You're going to have something cool come up and you're going to have just written. How much is the check?
It is about $400 a month.
Okay.
It's not. It's so I'll just say this real. It's not even so much the. I make a pretty good living, and so but she does as well, and I'm just frustrated because I feel like, not to keep going back, but I'm like, it should be 50-50. I don't feel like,
Yep.
you know,
And you're gonna look. Listen, you're gonna get
and
stuck on the loop. You're gonna get stuck on the loop, on the loop, on the loop, on the loop, on the loop. It should be, and it's not. Kids should not get
yeah,
cancer, and they do. My buddy shouldn't have gotten a car wreck and died. And he did. And he did. There's so much of our lives that shouldn't, that is. You had somebody try to destroy your life and take your son away from you. And it didn't happen. But you do have to pay $400 a month. Probably shouldn't have to, but it is. It is. And so cool. I'm going to write that $400 check. And I refuse to give her another room in my head rent free to take joy from my life. I refuse. I'm not going to give her that. Here's your $400. Love my son the best you can. I'm on to the next with my day. And the loop will start. The lightning bolts will pop in your head when you're writing that check. You'll be so mad, or when that check gets just taken out of your account, you'll get angry, and that's when you have a choice to make. Am I going to meditate on this? That's 50, and they shouldn't have. Or am I going to exhale through and go, I'm so grateful that I don't have to worry at all that my son's got the financial resources he needs. Now I'm going to the gym. Now I'm calling my buddy. Now I'm going to fill in the blank, whatever else comes next. You see what I'm saying? This is a total reorientation of your life.
Yeah.
Okay. Every time one of those things pop in your head, I keep a journal. I write it down. Look, it's right here, dude. And I put like cool, tough stickers on it and stuff, so I look all hard. But it's really just like a diary. I got it at Walmart.
Yeah.
Write them down when you're frustrated, when you're upset. And then be as adult as you can be on the other side of it. And be about, what can I control here? I can't control the $400. Cool. I'm going to write my $400 check. I'm going to move on. And then I'm going to be about, you can save up for a house. You can. You can work really hard for the next 18 months on a promotion. You can work really hard to get some new skills. You can work really hard on moving to another career, another job. You can do those things. You'll get a house. You'll absolutely get a house. It's going to be awesome. You're going to pay for half of it in cash, right? You're going to be able to work that stuff out. Right now, you're still in the aftershock of the breakup of your marriage. You never saw yourself as a single dad. You never saw yourself as someone who gets divorced. You never saw yourself as someone who failed. You never saw, so you got to have to reconcile with this whole new you. And you can. And you will, because you're a person of character. Live moving forward. Unchain yourself from the past, my brother.